All right. Welcome back to an Ace Attorney discussion by Danny, Roger, and Sarah. We took a couple months in between our last video and this one, 5 months to be exact, for a lot of reasons, personal life, whatever. But the biggest reason is that we actually wanted to make sure that all of us had played all of the games that we hadn't done before. So as of, I think, like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, we've all now finished Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 with the Chronicles Collection, which was awesome. And we've also finished the fan patch of Gyakuten Kenji 2, which, by the way, really solid fan patch. If y'all have not, if anyone listening has not played that, you should go check it out. But yeah, so today I'm joined by Roger. Say hi, Roger.
What's up, gamers?
And then my wonderful wife, Sarah.
Hello.
And we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it with we're going to start with Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, and starting off with Turnabout Target, the first case of that. I'll say this. I played this back when they did a demo. Way back when like the whole game hadn't been translated. I don't know, Roger, do you remember when, didn't we play it together? Am I making that up?
Okay, so yeah, the lore behind this is that the lore that everybody needs to know, of course. Back in the day when this fan translation first came out, it was like they were doing it piecewise, the same way that Scarlet Study did the Great Ace Attorney. Right. And eventually they finished it. I think they finished it in like 2014, and then we played like one case.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we'll see if it's better. It seems to be kind of better, but I mean, was it really that much better? I don't know.
Well, and anyone who listened to the first part of this discussion might remember that the three of us, none of us are really huge Ace Attorney Investigations fans for the first game. But yeah, so Case 1, I remember at the time, like, it definitely wasn't as much of an improvement to my brain at the time, and I was in high school. But like to me, I was like, okay, I think I'm okay on this, and I didn't really have any interest in the next cases. It wasn't until many years later where I knew the patch was finished, and I wanted to play it. But the one thing I do remember from playing back then was the reintroduction. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this before. Spoilers for literally the entire series.
Oh yeah.
But Shelly the Killer shows up in Turnabout Target. And I remember that being like something at the time that I thought was kind of interesting because 2-4 is one of my favorite cases. I think most people would agree it's like one of the best cases. Mm-hmm. And I just remember Shelly the Killer being something that was cool in 2-4, and also, you know, he got away. So I like the idea of bringing him back for he's one of the cooler cameos to me in the investigation.
Yeah, I would say the Killer is probably the only thing I really like about this case, which isn't to say that it's like horrible,
Sure.
but it's not a case that I would go back to, because the thing is, once you go inside the plane, it really is just like not a good case at all. You could probably even argue it's not a good case when you talk to what's her face, Nicole Swift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Sarah first played Prosecutor's Path, and she saw Nicole, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, like budget cut Lotta, like sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
my reaction was literally like, it's just Lotta again, which they kind of justify by making her Lotta's apprentice or whatever.
Right.
So it was sort of intentional, but it was not a good first impression for me.
Well, and she really isn't different. Like they don't.
Not really.
It's like a worse Lotta.
Yeah. They don't really as far as I remember, there's nothing, and maybe that could be, and the translation was quite good, but there might be some sort of way she speaks or something that was lost in the translation.
Possible.
I don't know, but yeah, it was very much just like, okay, this person is Lotta again. But yeah, I mean, like, I like, I just like chess in general, so like, I'm cool with like the rook and the knight and stuff like that. One thing I will say that happened in this case for me a lot, I remember this from the first time I played it, and also when I replayed it this year, was that sometimes, and this is just probably Ace Attorney Investigations in general, I remember there was like a time when you had to select like a certain angle of like where the balloon got shot or wherever. And I'm...
Oh, yeah, because of the assassination attempt, and it's like, oh, you have to figure out that it was on the stage or whatever.
Well, yeah, and I don't remember, like, where I was clicking, but I was so sure, like, based on what they were saying, that I had it, like, lined up right with what they were, like, hinting, and I had to try, like, 20 times. And I got stuck there. I was like, this is... What the heck's going on? But...
Yeah, because it was like you had to, like, line up the two bullet holes to figure out where the killer had to be standing, or the shooter had to be standing. And I want to say that what we both picked was like the left side of the audience, but what they really wanted was on the stage or something like that, but both worked.
Yeah, it might have been like the shot had to come from the stage or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was not a well-designed puzzle.
No.
And you know, I'll just go ahead and put this out. in general, I feel this way about Ace Attorney Investigations from what I remember about 1, and I felt this way about 2. And I'm just going to say this is subjective. This is what happened to me. I got stuck a lot more in these games than I ever did in the rest of the series of Ace Attorney proper, in terms of just having moments where I was like, I don't know what the game wants from me logic-wise. I'm just kind of like spamming stuff. I feel like I ran into that in Investigations more so than I ever did, and that could be because the logic puzzles are designed a certain way. It could be just because my brains were poop those days that I played. But I don't know. What about you guys? Did you run into that at all with Ace Attorney Investigations?
So depending on the case, yes. Like, I think that we'll get to the third case, but the third case specifically, I didn't have any problems with. And then the case after that is the fourth case. The fourth case I had a lot of problems with, and even the fifth case a little bit. I know what you mean, where it's like you're just kind of running around and you're like, okay, did I talk to this person? Did I look at this thing? Did I do this? What do I do to progress? Because nothing's happening.
Sure.
I know there were a couple of moments, and probably one of the later cases. I don't remember the specifics, but Danny might, because what they wanted me to present didn't really make sense. Like, I had to show somebody something, and I was showing them something else that should have worked as well. That's what it was. Like, they just didn't account for that, I guess, in the programming. But it was really frustrating because in my brain, I understood what they wanted. I knew what I needed to say to whoever I was presenting it to.
Yeah.
But the piece of evidence that I picked, the game decided was not good enough for that.
This is like a problem with Ace Attorney in general, where it's like if you're kind of clever, then Ace Attorney doesn't reward you for any of it.
Yeah, you can't get too far ahead of the characters because it doesn't let you do that. Yeah.
I've definitely run into that in the series, all throughout the series, even my favorite games, where it's like, you know exactly the contradiction that they want you to point out, and you have like logic for it, and it's like if you were a real person, you could explain, like, no,
yeah,
this is how this explains that thing or whatever. Or oftentimes, and this is the whole series as well, there's a lot of times in Ace Attorney where it's like, you know a twist that they just don't care about yet. Like, the plot is not ready for you to present that yet. And you're like, no, but it's right there, and I have the evidence and everything. But yeah. Alright, so Turnabout Target, yeah, not really a lot to say.
I mean, it's an intro case. It serves its purpose, but it's not something I'm like, damn, I want to play that.
Sure. No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then we go on to Case 2, the Imprisoned Turnabout, which, I'm just going to say this right away, I ended up really enjoying myself playing this case.
Right. I mean, it's not as bad as I remembered it, because when me and Danny first played this, he played Case 1, I played Case 1, and then I played 2, and I don't know if you played 2. I don't think you did.
I did not. I actually didn't know that you played 2.
So when I played 2 initially, I was like, man, this sucks. So like I knew 3 was really good. Like, everybody says 3 is good. Everybody likes 3. But I'm just sitting there like, man, that ruined my time so badly that I don't even want to play. And this time around, it's not as bad as I remember, but I will say it is pretty dragged out. That's the one problem I have with it. It's like, okay, it's a second case, but it's like, takes me like, 8 hours just to get through. I'm like, damn, this shit takes a while.
It did feel very long, the second case. I didn't hate it, but it did feel like it dragged.
Yeah, I don't know what it was for me, but actually, I do know what it was. The same thing happened.
You had text skip.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what it was.
No, that's true. It's true. Because I played on the copy that Sarah had played.
Cheater.
So I was able to like skip through the. But I mean, like, I read everything, but being able to just advance the text.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just gonna say though, I think also a similar thing happened when I played 3-3 for the first time, where I had a couple different opinions coming in from people I care about who were like really lukewarm on it. That happened with 3-3. I had a lot of people tell me it was like it killed their dad, sort of thing. But then when
it actually
did
kill mine.
No. R.I.P. Roger's dad, killed by Furio Tigre. But
way to go.
What a way. No, but I remember with that, I ended up playing it, and like, to me, it was like harmless in the end. I was like, okay, it was over before I knew it. I think a similar thing with this, where I went in with like really like, okay, this is gonna be dragged out, maybe not that fun, but honestly, I was into pretty much all of it. Courtney and Sebastian are 2 characters I love a lot. They are the most annoying in this case out of all the cases, which I think is fine.
Courtney is really annoying enough for, I think.
Oh yeah, because she does some dumb stuff.
She is. She does have a heel turn, but the like first 2/3, it's like, shut up.
Yes.
In case 2 especially, it is just kind of like, hey, can you just like chill? Sebastian's more funny than he is annoying. Courtney's just like, oh my god, Like, please stop.
Yeah.
Can you chill for 2 seconds? Yeah.
But Case 2 also introduces Ray.
Oh, Ray's so cool.
Yes.
And he's
Ray.
got dope theme music too. Really enjoyable. Yeah, but no, that's actually one of the things, spoilers for my whole opinion on the game. I really loved the original cast of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. So I think back on Case 2 pretty fondly because it's when you see Sebastian and Courtney and Ray kind of doing their thing. And we have some returns, like Frank Saw It is in prison. So.
That's true. He is there.
This is one of my complaints about the investigations games in general. Is I feel like they lean on cameos a lot or return characters.
Sure.
It just is kind of strange to me. But yeah, like Frank Saw It of all people.
You know,
why?
And then they are like super resistant to ever letting Phoenix or Maya cameos.
Yes. Yeah.
In the games, it's like. And they do the same thing the Marvel like Netflix shows used to do, where they would be like, oh, the guy with the shield or the green guy. Like I think Edgeworth would be like I remember vaguely from the first game, he'd be like, someone in blue said that once, and I'm like, dude, just say my boyfriend Nick, Phoenix, he said that one time. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't. Oh, and I also really liked the introduction of the assassin character, whose name is escaping me. Sheeran?
Dogen.
Yeah. I like the little jingle that plays whenever they were like talking about him. I like his dog. His dog makes me happy.
Yeah, I will say about this game, all of the cases are really, really interconnected. So
that is like the one really, really good thing, because Ace Attorney Investigations 1, they try to do it and they fail pretty spectacularly in my opinion, because you know, when I'm playing, you know, what is this, the airplane case, and then the one where the acting town or whatever the hell it is, the Wild West, I'm just like, who the hell cares about this? And then you get to case 5 and it's like, oh, it was all somehow barely connected with this smuggling ring, and I'm like, man, this just really isn't though. You guys messed this up.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting here playing Investigations 2 and I'm like, when you're playing case 5 and you're like, damn, they have stuff from like case 1 in here. This is pretty sick.
Right. And to both of your guys' point, it really does, like, case 1, you don't really realize it at the time, leads right into case 2. Case 3 is its own thing, but then case 5 really does tie it all together in a cool way.
So if for some reason you're listening to this and you haven't played it, play it all at the same time. Don't do what I did, which was take a year off after case 2. Because I didn't remember a whole lot.
Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that definitely helped me that I went through this all in one sitting. I think it helped me enjoy the overall story. And Kate, for whatever reason, I don't think I necessarily was super hot about any of like the logic or like maybe the like the puzzles of case 2, but I enjoyed just like the characters and like the story, like the whole idea about, I don't remember if it's revealed until much later, and like I said, spoilers for everything, that Knightley and Dogen, were like they were the chess buddies.
That's a case 5 reveal. Yeah, that is.
No, I just remembered. I think it's a case 2 reveal, but the way they do it in case 2 is they say like Dogen didn't know that it was him, like that they were like blind chess partners, and it was like a sheer coincidence. But case 5 reveals that they had like a connection.
Well, the big thing I think that you don't know coming out of case 2 is you don't know who to like mediate, like the middle person is. You don't know that's Keys.
You're right. Yeah.
Right. Which and then we have Sea Monkeys, Simon Keys, who gets introduced, which. We don't need to talk about like any like twist or anything yet. We'll get to it.
Hey, he's innocent. He's innocent here.
It's true.
It's true. Which, by the way, honestly, a good setup because they get you invested in this guy in case 2.
Yeah.
And you finish the whole case, and it's like, okay, like you have the Phoenix Wright mentality. Like this is the person you're defending. You believe in them.
Once they're innocent, they're 100% innocent forever.
Right. And this is not like Matt on Guard, where it's like. In the same case, you find that all out. This is a reveal they kind of sit on for a while, so that's kind of cool.
I did really like the villain breakdown animation in case 2.
With the animals.
Yeah, with the coat. Yeah, I really like that.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's case 2. Any other thoughts before we move on?
It's mid, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Mid. No, I would agree. Yeah. I would agree with mid. Okay, then everybody's favorite, the Inherited Turnabout.
Damn, I love this case.
I'm kind of lukewarm on this one.
Oh, we got a head-to-head now. Let's go. I like this because then you get 2 opinions.
Okay, I'm gonna give my. I think I'm probably. I liked it. I wouldn't say I was lukewarm on it personally.
Danny's the fence sitter here, I guess. He's just in between.
No, I'll be real. It wasn't like mind-blowing for me, and it's not my favorite case of Gyakuten Tenji 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I actually preferred 4 and 5. Just personally speaking, I enjoyed them more. Again, it's not really something that I have thought through. I will say this. Gregory is so damn likable.
Yes.
I really, really like playing as Gregory.
Yes.
That was like his inner monologues. He's adorable. Like in the one of the first scenes when they like there's a little jingle and he's like, "Dang, I almost got swept up in that."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I should get this for like Miles or something." He's like, because here's the thing, Greg Edgeworth was already like this figure in Ace Attorney, but he never shows up. He's just mentioned. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's hard shoes to fill to write for, but they did do well. And I like how he's got that like that stoic nature, but like, you know, he's still like having those monologues like you're saying, but he's good with empathy. He's good about reading emotions. He's not like, oh, I'm just a stiff board of like logic and nothing else.
He has really good dad energy. They captured that very well.
And he's got Ray to play off of.
Yes, the two of them are fantastic.
Little Ray.
Yeah.
Little Ray, I forgot, yeah.
This is pretty much why I really like this case. I mean,
yes.
And the other reason why I really like it is because the ending is super brutal, which I kind of like a bit of tragedy in Ace Attorney, where it's like nothing gets resolved completely. Where it's like everybody in this case, everybody who was involved in the case like 20 years ago or whatever it was, 15, 18, I think. Yeah. Everybody who's involved in that initial case and like is carrying over to today is like comes out of it worse. Nobody benefits from the shit that happened, which I think is cool.
It's true.
That's true.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I mean, that's something that's kind of cool getting into the case too, because anyone who's an Ace Attorney fan knows that Gregory's last case ends in the trial that gets him killed.
Yeah.
So like you have that going in, you're like, okay, you're doing all this investigating, but something here is gonna go wrong. But before I kind of get into more thoughts about that, Sarah, do you remember any of the stuff that kind of made you a little lukewarm on the overall experience?
Well, so I loved Gregory and Ray. It was great to see them. The way they wrote them was really, really good. It's cool to see Von Karma, but I don't think they completely nailed it.
They also give him revival.
Yes, I'm so mad about
that.
I'm mad about that forever.
That is the worst part about this entire thing,
yes.
is that they give Von Karma great revival.
Doesn't make any sense. I think for me, this case, the actual case itself, both of them, the past and present, the details just like did not stick for me. So I found myself getting like really confused, really lost about what was going on. It was hard to get invested in like the twists and turns because I didn't have a good picture of it in my head.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can't remember if they talked about it in this case or in the fourth case, but I think I didn't really love that they changed the circumstances a bit of like why Von Karma was mad at Gregory Edgeworth.
Oh yeah.
They changed it from like instead of Von Karma taking a penalty in court, it was that Gregory Edgeworth, that's confusing, exposed him for intimidating a witness or something, intimidating the defendant.
So I know exactly what you're talking about, and they specifically say they introduce a character's name and they never do anything else. I don't know why I remember this.
Oh, Rip Laced?
Rip Lacer. Yeah, they have like one of Von Karma's like dudes like essentially it comes out that he coerced what's the main chef's name?
Jeff Master.
That he like coerced a confession or like that it was like underhanded, and so Von Karma gets a penalty for that, which I'm totally with you. It's a lot cooler if like Gregory exposed it somehow like in court and that got the penalty. So,
I don't know. I just it was a case of like you didn't need to put more detail into this. Like, it was fine already, but, you know, maybe I'm a curmudgeon about it. So. I
mean, that's fair. That's fair criticism. Speaking of just Jeff Master, I feel really bad for him during the whole case. I'm like, damn, this dude's behind bars for like 18 years for no reason.
He gets the raw end of the deal. Yeah, and same with, I also can't remember his assistant's name, but like...
Catherine Hall.
Catherine, yeah. She also gets a rough end. Obviously, she's the culprit, as I recall, from the present part.
She's the culprit in the present part. Yeah. And I mean, at the very end, when they're like crying and stuff, I'm like, damn, you didn't have to do me this dirty.
Yeah.
This is part of why I like it too. It's just like it's resolving, but it's like bittersweet. Like now Catherine Hall is going to prison. That sucks.
Yeah. You know, this actually kind of summarizes how I feel about the whole game, which is I think there are good characters. I think there are really good themes being explored, and I think the execution was lacking at times.
Sure, I can appreciate that. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about the nitty gritty of Case 3 in terms of, again, like the puzzle, the mystery, but
like the actual mystery.
But I definitely enjoyed Ray in the past. I also enjoy him playing off of Edgeworth in the present.
Yes.
Just he's a really likable character. By the way, we haven't discussed. I'm going to point out an elephant in the room.
Is it Kay?
Okay.
We have not talked about Kay Faraday in this game.
We really haven't
No.
because up until this point, Kay Faraday is still Ace Attorney Investigations 1 Kay Faraday,
Yes.
which is she's not really needed.
Yeah, that's the problem. Edgeworth has too many assistants.
Yeah, and Ray. Well, I mean, first of all, it should have just been Gumshoe from the start. I'm just gonna say that right now. But then
Should have been Gumshoe, and then you splice in some Emma for some fangirl.
yeah.
That's it. That's
Hell
all you really
Yeah.
need.
But then I really like Ray fulfilling that role, especially in Case 3. I will say in Case 2, and I think 3 as well. Now I'm doubting myself that Kay's even in Case 3. I'm pretty sure she is.
Totally is.
She is
Okay.
in the present.
But I remember like laughing at a lot of like little bits. There wasn't like, but actually, guys, unless you have anything else to say about Case 3, this is a good segue. Are you guys good to move on?
Case 2.
Okay.
Sure.
For Case
4.
For Case 4, yeah. So I'll just say that right now. Doing the amnesia thing with Kay, made me more attached to her as a character than I ever was from the first game.
Yeah.
Made me give a single feeling for her
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, and I love the arrangement of her theme that's like more somber that they use for all those scenes. That was really good. But yeah, I enjoyed her playing off of Edgeworth more when she was like in her amnesia state. Also, Case 4 gets into something that I think is really strong about Yakuten Kenji 2, which is that the whole game centers around a character arc for Edgeworth, which is what
This is the best
right.
part.
Yeah, and Case 4 is when they really start to go towards this because he puts away he gives up his badge.
Yeah.
Because essentially he's like
No hesitation.
yeah, exactly. Because and Edgeworth, had been fleshing out his version of justice through the original trilogy, to the point where his arc was pretty complete by Trials and Trib. But Ace Attorney Investigations 1 isn't really about Edgeworth's arc. It's about the Yatagarasu.
Yeah.
Whereas Ace Attorney Investigations 2, especially once you get towards the climax, is very much about Edgeworth being like, what is justice? Justine keeps on being like, if you don't do what we're gonna say, I'm gonna take away your badge. And he's like, screw it. My badge is gone then. I'm gonna investigate this thing because Edgeworth is all about, in this game, figuring out his own sense of justice. And that's why it's even cooler that, like, Ray is offering him to be a defense attorney, and Edgeworth thinks about it.
Yeah, that's kind of the conflict they give him is, you have your sense of justice. What's the best way for you to explore that? Should you be a defense attorney like your dad, who you respect, who was a great guy? Or should you continue to be a prosecutor like your adopted dad, who was a terrible guy?
Yep.
There's a lot of daddy issues in this game, and I think they're all very interesting.
There are a lot of daddy issues in this game.
Everyone has daddy issues in this game.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, except for what's his face? The kid who is the daughter of the president, the son of the president.
Oh yeah,
and
he has mommy issues.
That's true.
He's the only
he does have
one.
mommy issues, but he has a good parent at least, which is pretty much the only Ace Attorney character I could say that for.
But the twist about him and his backstory is about who his dad is.
I was thinking that too.
Indirectly, yeah.
Yeah, it is daddy issues in its own
Well,
way.
okay. As far as the nitty gritty for Case 4, we get Emma shenanigans, which is always fun.
Yeah,
It's always a
Emma.
good time.
Yeah.
She just kind of appears, which I'm okay with. I don't need them to explain why Emma's here, really, or like go into the why is Emma here? It's like I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
Just
give me
remember
Emma. I don't
her.
She's the part where you're like looking through the secret 50th floor
right.
and all of the
Luminol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Emma. I'm sorry, baby. I forgot you.
Oh, that's fun.
And then another cool part of this case is when you're in like the prosecutor room, like the committee room. I don't remember what the hell it's called. You're in that room, and then like Blaze has you kind of on your heels. You don't really have evidence, and then all of a sudden Judge Courtney indicts Blaze instead of you or Kay. And then I'm like, oh shit. And then the pursuit starts playing, and I'm like, okay, you got me. Good job.
I think it's really incredible that they managed to pull off Edgeworth's Game 1 character arc with Courtney.
Oh yeah.
Like, they did it again.
It's
She's
true.
incredibly obnoxious, incredibly antagonistic, but thinks she's doing the right thing, and then she has a moment where she switches sides. It's basically Edgeworth from the first game, and I love it. It's great.
I will say about this case, Blaze DeBesta's animations make me uncomfortable.
I hate them all.
And you know,
He's creepy.
I'll say like they're good in my opinion, but I don't like looking at them.
No, no.
Like when he removes his goggles
Yeah.
and the tears splash out. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Watching that makes my eyes water up. It makes my eyes
Yeah.
get uncomfortable. So I
not great.
remember reading that and my eyes felt like they were watering up because I don't know, I have weird sympathy for that sort of thing. And then he's getting it out of his beard too, wringing it out.
Oh yeah, he does ring it out.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But by the way, sorry, I just want to say we forgot to mention Detective Bad in case 3 in the past.
Oh right.
Oh, we did.
I love
He's
him.
a good part too. Yeah.
He's really enjoyable. I remember actually
Because he's standoffish, and then he's like, all right, actually, I'll help you because I kind of hate Von Karma and the way he does shit.
Yeah, I love that.
And he's got a lollipop, and that's great.
He's got a lollipop. Yeah, I was gonna say, Bad was one of the things I liked about the first game, and so it was nice that they gave him that opportunity to be the detective. Anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of things from the first game, Case 4 also brings back Francisca,
Yes.
who, in this case, is neat, I think. I have a hard time remembering how she was in Ace Attorney 1. I just remember being kind of annoying. But I think this characterization of her is better. In terms of, because they both take place after the original trilogy. So Francisca kind of finds out what she wants to do. I remember in the first game, she's still really, on Edward's ass about shit.
Yeah.
That's just kind of who she is.
It is.
That's who she is, but in this one, it's a less... She's I got important stuff to do. I'm working with Interpol.
Yeah.
I'll help you out a little bit.
And also,
that kind of a thing.
why aren't you a prosecutor anymore? What the heck? They kind of set
pretty
up
much.
two sides there with Ray and Francisca telling Edgeworth, hey, this is really what you should be doing.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember if Francisca really had any, character moments per se in 4 and 5. She's more of just a strong ally.
She does have a great moment with Sebastian, I think, maybe in the 5th case, in the...
Oh yeah, no,
towards
she
the end.
does. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
They bond over their
when they're
daddy
stalling.
issues.
Right. Well, yeah, because they have the same. Yeah, and I think she respects that he's going on that path of kind of forsaking, being the perfect kid that his father that lives up to his father, tries to get the approval of his father, and finds his own path. Yeah. Yeah,
and also the conflict of your father is a terrible person, but you're going to continue on in their footsteps and make it better.
Yeah. No, that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it just kind of works out this way. We can just kind of get into case 5. Just because.
Okay, the Grand Turnabout.
Yeah,
sure.
just because case 4 and 5 are pretty interconnected as it is.
Yeah, I mean a lot happens in case 5 to begin with. We were saying, the whole part there's a lot of part of this case where there are crucial details from previous cases where it's oh, that mattered.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it really does all kind of weave together. I just want to talk about the absolute highlight of the game and this case to me, which is Sebastian's character arc that gets resolved in this case. Mm-hmm. They don't really do a lot with Sebastian until case 5. He's kind of in his bit kind of the entire time, that he's the best and all that. And, he has some good moments and he's funny and all that. But case 5, once you get to the logic chess with Sebastian, where Edgeworth is basically trying to help him out of sort of the hole that he's crawled himself into. I remember
that logic chess is probably the best in the game.
Yeah,
and
really
we haven't really talked about logic chess. I would say that's the only time that it's really interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one with Blaze when he's in the jail cell and he's trying to stall him to get more information.
Oh, right.
But I was kind of why is Blaze doing this?
Yeah.
Logic chess is cool. I like the idea. I remember another time I liked it was with Larry in case 3. Because you just have to wait multiple times, and then Larry.
Oh yeah.
And then Larry
just
just
so funny.
starts talking.
Yes.
That was good. I don't really feel critical about logic chess. I just don't necessarily think it's that amazing. I guess
it's a take it or leave it.
Yeah. It's a nice concept.
But this one was really good. With Sebastian, that one I really liked, and then it leads directly into Sebastian, slamming through the doors in court, and what I thought was great is you effectively play as Sebastian for that little court sequence.
Yeah.
Which I liked a lot.
He has some really great new sprites in those scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's
triumphant?
Yeah, or holding back his tears, but he's standing strong anyway. That's just a good real one. Good. It's real good.
That gives me like Gohan versus Cell vibes. No, it's great. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I'll give a shout out to Gumshoe in this case because he never screws up once, and at the very end he gets a raise, so that's a big win.
That is pretty great.
I'm so happy for him.
He and Kay also like make the clutch play. They find John.
Yes. They find him in the garbage dump.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I got so mad at one part of this case. I don't know if there were a few moments in the whole game.
There's one part that I really hate. I'm wondering.
I wonder. But there were moments that I did not like, and I don't know if it was that the translation maybe didn't do a great job, or if it's just bad writing all the way through. In case 4, when what's her face is on trial, I cannot remember her name, the prison warden.
Oh, Patricia Rowland.
Roland, yeah.
Right, the same name they use in Greatest Attorney.
Yeah, they just yoinked
Oh,
that.
I know you're so like during the first part of case 5.
She does in case is it case 5? She does this weird thing where she's like, I don't know why I'm here, despite the fact that she's been arrested for murder. And Courtney is like,
oh yeah.
Well, if you listen to our statements, then you'll know why you're here. And she's like, oh, so if I listen, I'll know? Okay. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, yeah, and I remember this was kind of interesting because Ace Attorney Investigations doesn't take place in a courtroom like most of the things. So like she does like kind of what most Ace Attorney villains do when they come to the stand in the games, where it's like you don't have any evidence. I didn't hear you say that in the court of law. And it is very dumb to see Patricia Rowland be like, what are you even charging me with? And it's like, oh my god, we had a breakdown animation. What are you talking about?
But so that was kind of a weird moment. But I think it's in the 5th case. So yeah, Courtney's
first part,
son is he is adopted, but he's kidnapped is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And she gives the kidnappers, like she gives her phone to Edgeworth so that if the kidnapper calls, he can pick it up.
Right.
And at one point the phone rings and Edgeworth picks it up and is like surprised that it's the kidnapper. It's a very weird interaction of like, could this be the kidnapper? Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like padding for suspense where it doesn't need to pad.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very
like,
weird.
I know. Yeah, that I can see being a big problem. Another problem I had with this case, which is just personal taste probably, is Lotta and Swift in this case kind of blow.
Yeah.
So the whole Mozilla thing, I'm just like, okay, maybe this was funny like the first time you mentioned it, but please shut up.
Yeah.
Because they mention it like 60 million times, and then you have to like prove that it wasn't, and I'm like, we know it wasn't. We know. We're not 5. Please.
This is the thing that's weird about the investigations games, is I feel like they're trying to almost recapture the glory of the original trilogy with things like, this is clearly a play on Gordy.
Yeah.
You know, and what you have to do in 1-4, where you have to prove that Gordy doesn't exist before Lotta will help you. But like, we already did that. I don't want to do it again.
One thing I don't remember, I feel like it wasn't explained in a way that I understood, or it just wasn't explained at all. Because they do this whole Mozilla fake out thing, and so it's like, okay, the eye that you saw through the window, like that was a balloon. It's okay, whatever. And then it's like, the footprints were, I think, Blaze DeBesta digging stuff up.
Yeah.
But it's like, why did he? How does it look like perfect?
Why did they all look like perfect footprints? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's. The eye thing made me mad too, because you don't actually have the evidence for that until you need to present it. Like, it's the circus flyer that shows the hot air balloon, and you do not have that in your inventory. So you have no way of putting that together until they give it to you at the very end.
Yeah, this case is really good, but it does stumble in areas.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really good parts. I mean, Shi Long Lang and Edgeworth are really good in this case.
Yeah.
I think they work together well, which I was glad to see him back, because it kind of makes a little cameo in case 2.
Yeah.
That's really it.
I always liked him, so yeah, I was glad to see him again.
It was nice to hear, like, not so fast. That was fun. Simon Keyes, his villain animations were really good.
Yes.
Like, with all the circus animals, that was super fun.
He says something that was really interesting. He knows law shit, which is really fun. It's always great when... I mean, like, I say law shit pretty, like, you know... I guess half sarcastically, because Ace Attorney doesn't really have law. But, you know, he, like, knows his rights a little bit in the universe. And he's just like, oh, did I say that? I mean, can you prove this? Like, if you can't do this, then... It's like, yeah, nobody's gonna say this, but I mean, I'm cool with it.
It's like when 3-3 used Double Jeopardy. It's like, oh shit, that's like a real thing.
That's real. What?
That's 3-2.
3-2? Oh yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. No, you're absolutely right.
But your
3-3 is where you trick Tigre, but
right,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, the whole mystery about Gustavia's son and Dover's son and Simon Keyes and all that stuff. I remember finding it pretty interesting. I remember I liked the reveal that Dogen was like the one who either was saved, I think, or saved Simon and
he was
Knightley.
saved. He was saved.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's reciprocal, I think.
and then he saved Simon from the killer in the finale.
Yeah, they have a really cool face-off.
He also, Dogen saves Simon and Knightley because they were trapped in a car because Knightley's dad was a prick and trapped him in a car in like the snow.
And there's the really cool twist about like whose dad is whose, like
like you think it's the other way around at first.
Oh, and Simon even thinks it's the other way around.
Yeah,
right. That
which
was
is interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
I have to tell Roger. Danny knows this, but
okay.
When I was playing the third case, I was confused by the timing because DL6 is 15 years before the first Ace Attorney game, and like it wasn't adding up. And the reason is because Investigations 2-3 takes place a year before DL6. But I was looking up a timeline. Yeah, it's because like the trials weren't fast yet, so.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about. Yeah.
Oh.
So, but I was so confused because like it's wrong. Why is it wrong? So I looked up a timeline to make sure that I was remembering correctly, and in doing so, foolishly, I happened to see. Two boys are found in a car. It happens on this day. And I'm like, huh. So for the entire rest of the game, I'm like, when is that going to be relevant? Because they're not talking about it.
That's funny.
And it's like the very last thing that comes up.
Yeah, whenever I'm playing an Ace Attorney game, I'm like, I gotta stay away from the wiki at all. Because I'm just gonna stumble upon something that's gonna ruin some inconsequential detail, but it'll be important somehow.
Yeah, it's full of spoilers.
It's kind of freeing to have played all of them, because now it's like, you can't get spoiled.
True, except for...
You can get spoiled on Leighton vs. Ace Attorney.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm probably not going to play it for a very long time, so whatever.
Fair.
Alright, well, any closing thoughts on Ace Attorney Investigations 2, y'all?
It is better than 1, that is all I'll say.
Good themes.
Much better than 1.
I liked it a lot more. Yeah, I honestly really enjoyed my time with it, and I really loved the new cast, and I loved how it centered around Edgeworth as a prosecutor.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was a really successful Edgeworth-centered game in terms of giving him an actual arc to go through that I cared about.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just translate this one, man?
Yeah.
Instead of the first one, just to take the L on the first one. I don't need to know anything
really
about
don't.
the first one.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. Oh, no, one thing I want to talk about really quickly is I really love a lot of the music in Ace Attorney Investigations.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's so many good tracks in this game.
Yeah. I love the investigation core theme. I remember I really liked that one. The pursuit in this game is really good.
Pursuit's great.
Yeah.
There's that one where you're starting an investigation. I forget what it's called. It has a very specific name. It's something like, I don't remember what it is, but it's like that one that starts out with that heavy bass line.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the core? The one that's like, da 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 da.
Is that core? I don't think that's core.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, but that's the one I like. That's the one I really
sounds like
like.
elevator.
Okay, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one. All right, cool.